Hi there. So the question that might be going through your mind is, why did this happen to Charlie? Why do they attack conservative voices? Why? And that's a question that many people have been asking. My youngest daughter broke down in tears, and I spent some time comforting her because she overheard the conversation between my wife and I about the assassination of Charlie Kirk and why they did it. And she was terrified, and I had to calm her down. And she says, and the question is why? And I'm going to do my best to kind of break down, you know, a few reasons why this happens. Now, if you read the Bible, and I'm just going to give you, just some perspective. When you read the book of Acts of the Apostles, from the later part of chapter 6 and the whole chapter of chapter 7, you would read of the trial of Stephen. Stephen was the first person, the first disciple of Jesus to be martyred. And it's a very interesting story because it outlines the reasons or the steps that people who disagree with you, especially what we're seeing today in modern culture, the steps they go through before we finally see what happened to a personality or a figure like Charlie Kirk. Now, the first reason why they attack is that they cannot win the argument. We see in the story that Stephen was first of all accused of saying things that he didn't actually say. And then afterwards, when they engaged in a debate, he won the debate. And when they couldn't take it anymore, they attacked him and they killed him. So we see this happen in scripture, and if you followed my content long enough, you will realize that I mention these things, the things that I learned from scripture, as a reference that helps me to center my life, and to have a perspective on the way things work in the world. So this story just gives us an idea of how these things work. So based on what I learned from the Bible, from the story of Stephen, I'm going to outline my response to this to this question: why do they attack conservatives? The first reason is they cannot win the argument. The second reason is they don't have any evidence that their ideas have ever worked. When you read the story of Stephen, you see that he went back in history and gave the people who were accusing him a history lesson that the things that they've been doing have never worked. And in the end, they were so furious that they attacked him and killed him for it. The third reason why they attack conservatives is that our very existence shows that their ideas are wrong. All of the ideas that they're pushing, no matter, just name any idea. The very existence of people like us who believe the opposite and are succeeding at living out those principles shows that their ideas are wrong. And then the next thing, the fourth reason is, if they can't win, violence is the answer. If they can't win the argument, if they can't win in the space of evidence that this thing actually does work, how many years have we watched these ideas that they've been pushing get tested out on countries, and it's literally destroyed whole countries and whole societies? And they still don't want to own up to the fact that it doesn't work. They're looking for who to blame. They say that it's the United States that was to blame. It was perfectly fine in Cuba until the United States did something. The United States didn't even have the opportunity to do anything, but they still say that they did. The fifth reason is that they always try to shame us into silence. And then they try to frighten us into silence. And then finally, they try to terrify us into silence. All right. Now, I don't know if the fifth one is a reason. I'm just putting out this video because I thought about it, and I felt like I should share this insight with you, because it can be seen everywhere. All right. They attack us because they can't win the argument. They don't have any evidence that their ideas have ever worked. The very existence of conservatives shows that their ideas are wrong. And because they can't win, violence is the answer. But they don't always jump straight to violence. They always try to, first of all, shame us into silence. Then they try to frighten us into silence. And then finally, they try to terrify us into silence. That's the way it's always been. They start out with shame. They start out with name calling. They call you names. They call you a fascist. They call you a phobe, this or an ist or something else that should shame you into silence. But when that doesn't work, then they try to frighten you into silence. They get into the legal system, lawsuits. They try to frighten you, because you might lose something. You might lose your job. You might lose something that you value. And when that doesn't work, they try to terrify you into silence. And that's when they come after your life or the lives of people you love. So people, this is real. And if you're asking why, it's always been that way. People who want to hold on to power and who want to force an ideology that doesn't work on people, they always go down this path. It's a predictable path. And people like Charlie Kirk have sounded the alarm for years. And he used to say that when the conversation stops, then civil war is next, violence is next. And he wanted to keep the conversation going. And what was the reward that they gave him? We all saw what happened. So let me know what you think of these reasons and some of my explanations. And if you've read the scripture that I gave, the scripture reference that I gave, and you've read through it and you have some thoughts, please put them in the comment section below. We will have to hold on to scripture in times of difficulty like this. I am probably going to be wrecking my YouTube algorithm because I have put out so many videos, and I don't know if I'm ever going to stop today, because I did a video before this, and as soon as I stopped the video, this thought came into my head, and I just felt, okay, I should do a video about this and put it out there. My YouTube channels might not like the way I'm posting these things, but I think they're important. If they're helpful to you, let me know in the comment section below, and let me know your thoughts on the Bible reading, and I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, God bless you.